He was young and handsome. Built a cabin made of logs, just a whip in hand. Abe grew up to be the president. He moved into the White House, got the American hand.
I was born in a cabin made of logs. Good old Abe, honesty. I live in the woods with raccoons and frogs. Good old Abe, honesty. He liked to help people in need. Good old Abe, honest Abe. His favorite thing to do was read. Good old Abe, honest Abe. He told Dory a funny ghost. Good old Abe, honest Abe. He was lighted by lots of food. Good old Abe, honest Abe. As always, good old Abe, honest Abe. It was the saddest sight I'd ever seen. Good old Abe, honest Abe. To the White House, he was the good old Abe, honest Abe. To be our 16th president, good old Abe, honest Abe. He found a way to set the slaves free. Good old Abe, honest Abe. He changed all the laws for liberty. Good old Abe, honest Abe. Now owning slaves was not allowed. Thank you. Thank you. Abe, you made us proud. Good old Abe, honest Abe. What was Abraham Lincoln famous for? Mr. Lincoln loved the United States. He helped to keep the colonies together. During the Civil War, and wanted all men to be free. Abraham Lincoln was a great president. What did Abe Lincoln help build when he was only 7 years old? His family's new log cabin in Indiana. The family had just moved from their one-room, dirt floor log cabin in Kentucky where Lincoln was born. What did Abe love to do as a boy? His favorite thing to do was read books. He sometimes walked 25 miles to borrow a book from the neighbors. What happened to Abe's mother when he was a young boy? When Abe's mother got sick and died, life in their new home was sad and lonely. Soon after, his father married a woman with 3 children. His new stepmother was kind and gentle. Young Lincoln had only 1 year of formal school, but he read every book he could get his hands on. He had jobs as a post captain, a postmaster, a store clerk, and a self-taught lawyer. But he said, from my boyhood up, it was my dream to be president. What was another president's function when Lincoln was a president? The other president, Jefferson Davis, was elected to lead the 11 southern states that had left the Union. Did Lincoln like the nickname Abe? No, even though Honest Abe was President Lincoln's nickname, as he was often called because he was trustworthy and hardworking. He hated being called Abe.
No one
No one
called him Abe.
called him Abe.
His friends and family
His friends and family,
called him Mr. Lincoln.
Mr. Lincoln. Lincoln was America's tallest president. He was 6 feet 4 inches tall, but he looked even taller when he wore his stovepipe hat. He kept some of his most important papers inside his hat. Where in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, did Lincoln give his Gettysburg Address? Lincoln gave his speech at the cemetery of the on the Civil War battlefield in Gettysburg. His famous 272 world address begins 407 years ago. Our fathers brought forth on the continent a new nation conceived in liberty and decade to the proposition that all men were created equal. Score means 20, so 407 equals 87 years. What happened 5 days after the Union won the Civil War? President Lincoln was assassinated by actor named John Wilkes Booth. Booth, who wanted the South to win the war, shot the president during a play at Ford Theater in Washington, D.C. Lincoln was the first president to be assassinated. Whose face is on the penny in the $5 bill? Abe Lincoln, that's you.
Stand up for Washington. If you don't know If you are the ones who care, always present number one, then you really know the He chopped down the cherry tree. Bye, George. Again, showed his honesty. Bye, George. He said with a sigh, I can't tell why. Father, it was me. Bye, George. George Washington, our first president. George Washington, our first president, known for his honesty. By George.
Hey! Don't put this. Makes my hair off. When Washington was president, he wore the strangest clothes. His shoes had silver buckles on now. Why do you suppose? He had buckles on his knees. His suit was made of velvet cloth. He wore a lace ruffles on his coat when he went out to tea. He hairly cut and women. He braided like girls. How could he be a president and wear his hair in curls? What?
I wonder if George Washington
liked to read books. I wonder if he whistled and liked to fish in little streams. I probably said George Washington was much like other boys. He was born in Virginia almost 300 years ago. The year was 1732. Math was his favorite subject. He only went to school for 8 years. At the age of 26, he married Martha, who only had 2 children. Leader of the army, a great General George B. led wars in war. He led in peace, a leader of brave and true. Father of our country, our first president. Proudly and wisely he led the government. He helped the colonies to be free. He helped get rid of the mean old king. Each year on President's Day, we honor him. We celebrate his birthday. Our capital has his name. His picture is on the dollar bills and the quarter too. His home called Mount Vernon is now a small museum that all can visit. His face is carved in a stone on Rushmore in South Dakota. Washington Monument in Washington, D.C. was built to honor him. How did George Washington know to be how to be a president? He didn't because he was the first, but everyone believed he would be the best because he was a hero in the Revolutionary War. Why wasn't Washington made the King of America? He almost was. People liked George Washington so much that some wanted to crown him king, but Washington said he didn't want to be King of the United States. After all, Americans just fought a war for their freedom from the King of England.
What should we call George Washington?
What should you call George Washington? After Washington was elected, no one knew what to call him. Some suggested His Elective Majesty, His Elective Highness, Your Mightiness, and His Highness, the President of the United States. Phew, good thing. George Washington said, just call me Mr. President. Why was Washington the only president who didn't live in Washington, D.C.? Because the city wasn't built yet. When the city was built, we named it after him. Washington, D.C. Why didn't President Washington ever have a kid today? By the time Washington became president, he had only one tooth of his own. Everyone says his false teeth were wooden, but actually they were made of elephant and walrus tusks. And also of cow supple and human teeth. What a mouthful! Who wasn't too happy about having his cherry tree chopped? Legend says that when young George Washington's father asked what happened to one of his cherry trees, the future president said, I cannot tell a lie. I didn't cut it in with my hatchet, but in fact we knew a writer made up the story to show how honest Washington was. Who did Washington call sweetlings? Madam Lucy Trullo. It wasn't his wife Martha. It was his dogs. Washington was such an animal lover that he had his horses toothbrush every morning. That he himself, like most other people of his time, thought bathing was unhealthy and didn't do it very often. Because